Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we've got a pairing video today, and it is of our Aphonopelma seemanni. Now this is a real common spider, but it's still important that we try and breed them in captivity, and we'll have a little talk about that after we've watched the video. Now it's quite a quick video. It didn't take very long. I wish some of our other spiders were this quick. We've had a little run of doing a few different ones lately, and some of them have been taking absolutely hours, to the point where we've literally cohabited them overnight because it's just taking far too long. So this was a nice pleasurable one, very quick, very quick. Now you might see in the top of your screen just about here, this is our golden orb weaver, and she has made a web that goes from this end to the light right the way through, and it covers this whole thing all the way in front of me here, and she's anchored it to this part of the desk here. And so yeah, this is all very good, and it's nice because we can see her. She's literally just above my head. There she is, just there. Hopefully you can see her in the camera, and we could have a proper look. I'll see if I can't zoom in a bit. Actually, she's eating a cricket at the moment. So let's have a little look, see if we can't. There she is. See if we can't pick her up. As you can see, look at that. She's up there eating her cricket. And like I say, that web has actually taken a hold over the whole width of that desk, which says, like we were saying before, in the wild state they do make these huge webs. Absolutely remarkable. Isn't she wonderful? So we're going to pan back out again now, and as you can see there, look, you can see the web running all the full length of that light, all the way through to the other side. Look at it all. Look at that. And you can see that line there, that runs all the way down, and it comes right the way down here. Still see it, and it takes up residence right on the edge of the desk. And there she is. So then we can just see her at the top of the screen there. She is just there. Right then, so as I said, she has taken up a huge area, not in the best place possible. Now a couple of you asked, will she be going over to the new room? Provided she lives long enough, yes, we will move her. Look at that, I've just touched one of the lines there, made her shake. Now we will be moving her over, but these guys don't last longer than a season, so they're quite short-lived really. I think, I'm hoping we have the Brighton show coming up in a couple of weeks on the 24th of November, I believe, and hopefully we can find a male. If we can find a male, we'll try and pair them up and see what we can do. But that'd be really cool. Our other females doing well as well. Right then, let's go over and have a look at these seemannis and see what they got up to. Well, today we are going to pair up our Aphonopelma seemanni, the Costa Rican Zebra. There goes our male, straight in there. Now you can see the large emboli on the male, which gives them that boxing glove look about their pedipalps. And as he moves around, we will also see the hooks on his legs. Now he is literally at the very mouth of the burrow of our female. And as you can see there, he's literally landed. He's been in there a few minutes now, and we've not really seen much in the way of movement from him. And this quite often happens. They just need to test the ground, see what's about. It's almost like they're taking stock of where they are. But it's important that we just leave them to it and just give them that little bit of time. Now you might be asking, why on earth would we want to be pairing a Costa Rican Zebra, or the striped knee tarantula as they are often known? And that's because the seemanni is one of the most common spiders within our hobby. They cover much of Costa Rica, which is where they get their name from, and much of Central America. So there you go, you can see the hooks on the legs. Just see our female's legs sticking out now. She's getting ready. Here we go, different angle now. You can see our female down in the burrow there. And notice our male is very, very spread out. He is literally in such a position where he can just spring into action should he need to. You can see the hooks on the legs there now. Not all tarantulas have these hooks, remember. Many of them do. Now, as we were saying, these guys come from Central America, and they are one of the most common. There you go, there's our female. Look, she is very, very receptive now, and she is actually encouraging him. Always a good sign. So yeah, why are we breeding one of the most commonest spiders in the hobby? Well, one, because they are readily available. So if you're new to pairing spiders and breeding in general, these are a great spider to actually try with, because they are relatively sensible. They're not too bad a spider. They're very, very common, so it means we can get hold of them. There is a little bit of a problem with males, because these are caught in the wild in huge numbers and brought into the hobby, and it's mainly females that are being brought in. And this is because I would imagine that they're big females, and this is where the market is. Suppliers know that big adult females will always end up bringing in the money, whereas smaller ones not quite so much. And also probably down to the time of year that they're collected. They bring plenty of them in. Now you can see our male is full on in now. He's tickling our female away there. Look, he's trying to draw her out. Here she comes. You can see he's in wonderful condition. He's a lovely fresh male. And they are quite difficult to get hold of, the males, for some reason. They just don't appear to be as common. Now you can see our female, she is much, much bigger than him. And you can see his pedipalps working away there now. He'll be looking for that epigastric furrow. You see him shaking there then. He's holding her up with that first two pair of legs. And our second pair of legs, where our hooks are, you can clearly see it on that back leg. He will eventually be able to use them should he need them, and he will be able to force her over. So yeah, we are breeding one of the most commonest spiders, and this, hopefully, if we all done this, we could help to, slow down the collection in the wild. Many of the females that come in produce egg sacs, and this is where many of them come from. There you go, look at that, he's bent her over. We've got insemination there. We're going to see it from another angle now. So if you're new to this is what you're looking for. You're looking at that angle of the body where he pulls her over, where he's actually got full insemination. Now the red dot that you can see on the screen there is actually a mirror image of my camera. It's my camera lens telling me my camera's working. Unfortunately, it's right in the middle of her carapace. It is nothing to do with her. As you can see there, both spiders are in lovely condition, and this is what we're looking for. So if we can manage to get these, there you go, there's insemination right there. You see that, the way he pulls her through? She is literally doubled backwards. That is a really, really good solid insemination there. That is exactly what we're looking for. We've seen no aggression from our female. She's been absolutely perfect so far. Quite often or not, after insemination, this is where it's going to go a little bit awry if it's going to go bad. So we can be ready now, just in case she decides to flip over and try and eat our male. Remember, it's not the norm for the males to be eaten. Vast majority of our males make it out alive to breed another day. And this is what you should be aiming for. So we make sure we condition them properly and get them going. So again, this is an important spider to breed, even though it is so common. And it's often the mainstay for many beginners. These are really a lovely spider. Notice how now, look, he is literally just pushing her over. And he's going to want to break free. Here we go. He's going to have to go in a moment. Here you go. See, he's getting ready. He's going sideways now. He's getting ready to make a run for it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, there he goes. And he's away. To fight yet another day. Well done, boy. Well then, what did you think to them? They didn't hang around, did they? Now, it was interesting. When we popped our male in, you see he literally almost like jumped in from the other side, and then he landed, and then he just sat there, and we didn't see much in the way of any movement from him or anything, just the odd little vibration coming out of him. And then when we changed angles, you could see him just shake a little bit, and then he'd shake a little bit more, and then she responded. Oh, excuse me, I've got a fly on my glasses. And then you see how she responded straight away. She started tapping away, and then before long, that was it. Once they make that initial contact, then it's full on. They're away. They're going, which is really cool. Now, one of the things that we sort of spoke of in the video, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people message, you know, why on earth are you breeding such a common spider? Well, the simple fact is we need to breed these guys. And if you're new to breeding, new to pairing spiders and all that side of the hobby, then these are an ideal spider to actually attempt to do. Now, they are collected in huge numbers in the wild, huge numbers. And this will have an effect on the wild population, because much of what we see coming into the hobby are adult females. These are females that have taken, you know, probably 4, 6, maybe 8 years or more to actually mature and get to a breedable age, and then they're taken from the wild. So the wild is not being replenished by these spiders. You know, they're coming into the captive scenario, back into the hobby. Now, for us, if we are to, like, if you like, police ourselves, we need to be making an effort to actually to breed all of the spiders, no matter what they are, whether they're common or rare. We need to be trying our very best to try and have viable captive populations that we produce ourselves, and this in turn will slow down the actual the wild taking, you know, taking of them from the wild, which is something we really should all be trying to endeavour to do. Now, we see many of the adult females coming into the hobby, and many of those actually produce egg sacs. So we get, this is where an awful lot of our slings come from within the hobby, is from wild caught females dropping egg sacs. Now, we've said this once before, if you buy a wild caught female and she drops an egg sac, you have not bred that spider. You know, that is a captive hatch. So it's not something that we can claim as being captive bred. That was bred in the wild. It just happened to have its egg sac in captivity. So it's two very different things. So we often see people, you know, put posts up, you know, oh, I've bred my seemannis, I've got baby seemannis. Yeah, well, that didn't help the wild population whatsoever, did it? Because it was already done in the wild. You know, if that egg sac had been dropped in the wild and hatched in the wild, then yes, that would be replenishing the wild stock. But to be dropped into captivity, it hasn't done anything for the wild whatsoever. So this is why we need to try and breed our own spiders and take off some of the heat from these wild caught populations. Right, enough of that. So if you're new and you want to, you know, dabble in the world of breeding, it's not without its problems, and it does have, you know, there's some sad points and there's some really high points as well. So if we manage to successfully breed our spiders, obviously that is the high point. We've watched it from maybe growing our spider on to actually pairing our spider. Then we get to see the egg sac, hopefully get to see it hatch out, and then we see the whole process all over again. It's an absolutely wonderful thing to experience and go through. And anyone who's into the hobby and they want to, you know, progress and take it up another stage and try this breeding, things like the seemanni are an ideal spider to actually have a go at. Now, they do have quite large sacs, so we can end up with anything from, you know, literally like 100 babies to maybe 600 babies or more. So it's important that if you are going to breed, you try and find out first where you're going to be able to dispose of your babies. Now, here in the beastie room, we buy in complete sacs from people that have bred them, and we take the whole lot. As we often, you know, we buy in collections and all sorts of stuff. So anyone who has surplus spiders that they no longer want, throw us a message. We will often buy them in and take them. And also, like with the babies, if you're breeding spiders, we will take in those surplus stocks. So we, you know, we obviously pay good prices for these spiders, but it gives an outlet to breeders that actually want to dabble in this side of the hobby. And because many of them, you often see, you know, people are like, oh, you don't want to breed them, you'd be stuck with them, you'd be stuck with this. There is an outlet. We can move these spiders on and they can be used elsewhere. So bear that in mind. If you do want to breed anything, there is often people that will actually take them on, us included. So there's one thing. The other thing is males. Now, we said in the video, you saw our male, he literally jumped out of the enclosure, done a runner. It's most important, if you're going to start to pair your spiders, that you give your males every opportunity to be able to escape. Now that means, for one, when you're housing your female, if you intend to breed from her, house her in something that's of a reasonable size, where she can maneuver around and he can maneuver around and get away and actually escape. If you're trying to breed them in tiny little enclosures, this can make it very difficult for the males. So bear that in mind. If you intend on breeding your female, put her in something a little bit bigger. That will help your breeding no end. It'll help your male. Now, the other thing to remember is many people are under the impression that males die whenever they pair with a female spider. This is just utter rubbish. Utter rubbish. The only reason males end up becoming meals for our female spiders is because they haven't got the room to maneuver, so they can't escape. They were either ill conditioned to start with, our females weren't conditioned properly, and they weren't in the right stage of their cycle to actually accept a male. There's many different things that will make the demise of a male more of a certainty. Those are the things that we need to be able to nail down and make it so that our males have every opportunity to go through, breed and escape, and hopefully breed again. So we have to change our way of thinking within the hobby about our males. We must change it. Now, I can remember as a child watching Life on Earth with David Attenborough, and back then, I'm showing my age a little bit now, but back then, Life on Earth was probably one of the very few wildlife documentaries, programs on the TV back in the day. There was nothing else, not like we have today with National Geographic and all sorts of wonderful stuff nowadays. But back then we had very little, and all we really had was David Attenborough and Life on Earth. Now, one of the things that they done back then was they followed spiders. They'd done a little bit on spiders, and it was often suggested that they filmed a spider mating, and then she'd grab that spider and she'd eat it. And then, of course, came that old golden nugget of wisdom that said the females always eat the males because this helps her to produce a healthy clutch of eggs, and it sustains them babies to grow properly and all the rest of it, because she may not feed for months on end and all this sort of stuff. Well, back then we believed that as gospel. Today we know that most of that information is pretty much codswallop, to be putting it frankly. It's absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Now, we have learned a whole load of things from 30 odd years ago. We know so much more now. We really do. And we also know that our males do not need to die to produce a healthy sack of babies. They just don't need it. Now, our females, we've also found that our females will often feed whilst they're actually producing their eggs and everything else. They will carry on feeding, and even when they have an egg sac, some will leave and feed and drink and go back. This again was something that we never really thought much about. We didn't really understand at all, but we know so much more now. So we now know that that information about males being the sustenance for our females is just wrong, in my opinion. It's completely wrong. And we've still got 30 or 40 years of this knowledge being forced onto young keepers of today. They still believe that old information, and it's just wrong. You know, we need to move on. We've got to get up and see things for what they are today. Now, you would have remembered back last year's breeding, we had something like a 97% success rate with our males. Now, that success rate in actual fact equates to our males' survival. 97% of them survived and went on to breed again and die of natural causes. So that's a really, you know, that's a good figure. 97%, that's a huge number. And it just goes to show that if we condition our females, condition our males, get them at the right times, we can save the lives of many of these males. So there's no need to lose them. We still do lose the odd one. It doesn't always happen that we save them all. We do lose the odd one. Certain species, some of the chilobrachys, are very renowned for luring their males in, grabbing them at the last second. And there's not a lot we can do about that. Some species are much harder on their males. But that being said, we still do get some survivors from those as well. So we've still got things to learn there. So breeding is a wonderful side of the hobby that, you know, we should all have a little dabble with. We should all have a little go at. And I do believe that, you know, the more people that try it, the more we will learn, the more we can share, the better the hobby becomes. And that's what it's all about. It's all about sharing it, and so that other people can enjoy it and also have a go themselves. That's what we're looking for. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you like to see our little orb weaver. She's up here busily munching away on a cricket that I threw up here a little while ago. She's pretty much feeding on a daily basis. And what this wonderful web. It does make life a little bit hard. Now, there's a line runs all the way down here, and then there's another one comes across here. And what I have found is I can actually unclip these one strands, single strands. These are like guy ropes, if you like you have on a tent. I can unstrip these, and I can either let them go, and then the web will actually fold up a little bit. Still leaves her enough to be able to feed and do all her stuff, but it allows me to get in and do my work as well. So although we sort of like dismantle part of her web every time we need to do something, it doesn't really affect her life at all. Very clever. Imagine in the wild, a bird flew through here and ripped these. Whoa, look at that! I caught it then. Rip the guidelines out, then literally the rest of the web stays point. Now it's a shame you can't see it, but because I've knocked that web out, this now has all gone a little bit slack, but it's still capable of doing exactly what she needs. We just blow on it there. Now you can see that guideline is here. It's actually here. Look at that, look, we can actually pull that. How strong that is. We can actually pull that. I'm pulling that web now back to where it was. Look at that. That's still attached. And we've now made that web completely tight again. So we can bring that down here. It's still on there. And we can hook it around the table. Yeah, look at that. We have literally reattached that guideline and brought that web back to where it was. Isn't that just amazing? Right. It's the little things in life that keep us ticking on, you know. That is incredible. Such strong web. Right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that pairing video. We've got lots and lots more to come. And so stay tuned. And I will see you next time. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you soon, guys.